Yep.
This
It's
is
always
only like
something.
the 12th time we've done this. And we are back. We are back. That's right. We're live. It's Drones After Dark, episode 12, The
Hell yeah.
Return of Drone Jesus. How you doing tonight?
Dude, I am living the dream again. Over and over, every week, same thing. Living the dream. I actually got my Pilot Institute hat in. Shout out to Greg. Shout out to the guys at Pilot Institute. I've got the Support Pilot Institute today. We're not monetizing this, but we absolutely love those guys. So super excited. I got my hat in today. I've got the sweatshirt. I've got the hat. I've got the whole. And now I've got the lighting to go with it. So hell yeah, tag them all.
Tag everybody every single time we do a shout out.
Tag them all. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I'm living the dream. I mean, I get to play with, talk to cool people, and life is good.
Nice. Good. Working on some code, crunching a little bit before the holiday season, making some cool breakthroughs on Midnight Sun and Tac Browse, and who knows, maybe we'll be releasing a video on it pretty soon.
Awesome.
And then maybe releasing the product as well.
Work. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, exciting stuff, right? It is what it is. It's the industry moving forward. Don't mind me staring at my other screen. I'm trying to share to some other people and get stuff out there.
Nice.
But
well, Ken Booth commented, "What's up? How you doing, Ken?" Shout out to Ken Booth.
dude, he is another brilliant mind. The day DJI lost him, that was rough. He was a huge asset for DJI. I can shout, dude. He is. I mean, he's always been super helpful to me. Let me tell you, I have given Ken Booth serious shit, like nonstop. Hey, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. This is fucked up. Blah 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 blah. And he would always walk me through, and semi-patient. One day, I gave him a bunch of shit on Facebook, and I got my phone rang. He's like, "Hey, can you tone it down just a notch?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." But Ken is brilliant, super smart, helpful. I'm sure half the drone pilots out there, even if it's DJI or Autel, he's still conversing with people in the drone space. But yep,
yeah, industry giant right there, Ken Booth.
Industry giant for sure. He'd be a good one to get on here. So wait, let's talk about rules real quick. So Drones After Dark, 2 rules. We're gonna scrap that 3rd rule because I don't think that person's even worth giving attention to anymore. I don't even know if he's still alive, but we won't get into that. But anyway, so rule number 1.
Rule number 1. You have to curse.
Is that rule number 1 or rule number 2? I never remember.
Oh shit.
It's one of the 2 rules. You can tell Bobby's been drinking.
There's that.
What's rule
number
number
1?
2?
You have to curse. Rule number 2, you have to imbibe with us. So
let's get drinking.
I've got some Uncle Nearest. I got the Uncle Nearest rye because I hadn't had the rye. I had the other 2. I'm pretty sure I turned you on to the Uncle Nearest too. It's man, it's
not
good
the
stuff.
rye. The rye burns, man.
Oh no,
man,
dude.
Ooh, super painful. What's everybody else drinking in the chat? Write what you're drinking in the chat.
Bobby,
I've got.
What are you drinking?
I got an interesting story on this bottle of wine right here. So, I buy wine at Mexican supermarkets because it turns out a lot of Mexicans don't drink wine. So the wine selection's usually really small next to the beer selection, and that also means that a lot of the wines are on discount. For this one, I paid $10 for 3 of them, so $3 a bottle of wine. Pretty good deal.
hell yeah, that's awesome.
Booth, damn Ken, you're bougie with the blue label.
All right, see, where can I talk to Ken?
Talk to Ken
on
Just
your
open
Facebook
up my,
page.
Facebook Live on my page, yeah.
I guess I might just have to refresh it. But anyway, so what's he drinking? Blue Label?
Blue label.
I always did like Ken.
Dang.
We got
Impressive.
There's
some Blue Label, some Yingling,
Nice.
a Manhattan.
Anastasia.
Yep, Anna drinking the Manhattan
Anastasia from Skybrows.
with with the Woodford. So, I mean, that's my go-to. That's typically what I'm drinking. I like to get outside of my box for drones after dark. For one, I can typically handle Woodford a little better. So when I start drinking stuff like the 100 proof Uncle Nearest Rye, some more truth comes out. So you know, there's that gives me a little more of an edge on the mic, but yeah, that Woodford, man, I love that Woodford. Tommy Gun Manhattans for the win, absolutely.
Nice, nice, good stuff. Oh man,
So-
I mean last week's podcast. Oh man, we stayed up for a while.
Oh God, we can't do that.
So we actually released. So we actually recorded 2 more hours after we concluded because there's always a after show, and then this after show just kept on dragging on, and it didn't drag on. It was just fun,
Party.
Yep.
right? They'll go in our unreleased files.
And talking about that, when you get on with someone like him, I mean, he's so knowledgeable. And then once you get off camera, you know, you get to talk about all the stuff that's drones after dark, which is super neat. But fuck me, was I polluted, dude. By the end of the night, 4 hours on between you and him and everything else, 4 hours of drinking with you guys. I am super dedicated to work. Like, I love my job. I am gung ho. I woke up that next morning. I'm like, what I am going to get done
Today, but I'm pretty sure I'm dying.
and it doesn't. That's a very rare thing for me. Yeah. So we're Earth drones after darks anymore. 2 is.
That being said,
tonight's guest is someone that tonight's guest though is absolutely someone that I could sit there and talk to for 12 hours, easily, like super easily. Who we got coming on, Bobby? I know we mentioned it on our
For
Facebook
the rest of
pages,
the
but
folks, we have drone coming on in about the usual time, around half an hour after we start.
yep, the godly hair, the sandals, the whole nine, and super knowledgeable. Oh my God, he's legendary. I mean, not just DJI, not just Autel, he's got the whole gambit from fixed wings to RC helis to, I mean, he's been flying robots for like since 1 BC or something like that. I don't know.
Is it?
Or 180,
I guess it would be.
the
Year after the death of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as he came back, so 3 days after he died, he came back and started flying robots. And he is, he's
Incredible what he
does
does.
and super knowledgeable. And he's got some great fucking stories.
Yeah. We
Yep.
could exchange stories all night, but
Oh,
we are capping
easily.
this hard cap
Easily.
at 2 hours.
Bobby
We're not-
Bobby said he can't
it's
go
not
another
that
day
kind
with
of
me missing work.
I need him. Also, I'm gonna end up coding tonight as well, so I need to be not boozing this entire bottle of wine with y'all. I need to be focused on work.
Anna said, "What are you sipping on?" She obviously missed it. I've got some Uncle Nearest Rye. Bobby's sipping on some wine. John,
No,
I'm sure
he's sipping on.
referring to Tommy's comment.
Oh, scotch. Yeah, Tommy, what kind of scotch you drinking?
Ardbeg? What's Ardbeg?
I don't know.
It's a distillery. Fancy.
Oh,
Fancy. My favorite scotch is Glen
So-
Blue.
so let's get some other stuff out of the way. I don't really want to sit here and just bash Skydio all night because I tend to do that once I start getting inebriated. I want to talk about like good stuff once John gets on. So to get some things out of the way. Familiar with docking day? Like, did
Everybody
everybody?
watch Scotty Goes Docking
Oh
Day?
my god.
So my quick question
Oh,
is:
man.
has anyone ever looked up the term docking on the internet? Don't. If you haven't, don't. But whoever did their marketing for that,
What are you doing?
golly, whoever did their fucked up bad, dude. Yeah, docking
Docking
day.
Day.
Man. So, anyways, I got that out of the way. Did they? So, how did that docking thing
no
go?
more talk of the S word.
No more mention of the S word. I just want to know how that dock went.
It's all right.
Was it like
Yeah, either dock opens up and drone takes off, or
did that happen at docking day? I want to know what dock day. But I guess I'll ask some people. I know Billy Kyle went. I'll have to ask him about it.
Yeah.
Ye-
He's fun fact. I think he's in Tennessee today, but he's driving to Dallas. And he should be here tonight, and then we'll hang out and stuff.
Really? So he's coming back to Tennessee? Because he's gonna be
Right,
back in
everybody does
Tennessee
that.
on Tuesday. Yeah, I have the pleasure. I get to hang out with Billy on Tuesday. So
Wow.
stoked.
Billy touring all of the Skybrows team members' domiciles.
And anybody that likes robots as much as I do, we'll get along just fine.
Also, we have some team members in like the Philly area that can just hang out with Billy as well. Well, we got Amir, we've got Anna. They're all like within like half an hour of Billy.
Yep.
Classic Billiam. He said he like the way he does it. I'm like, he's like, so he was driving yesterday, and he's like, yeah, I'll be in Dallas tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow? It takes 25 hours to drive from Philly to Dallas. And the way he does it is he just sets his car on autopilot, lets it drive by itself until it gets to the next charging station. And while it's driving, he'll just like do work, edit videos, write text messages and whatever. And then once he gets to the charging station, he takes a nap or takes a piss and then goes right back to it again and just repeats nonstop. So he's just always on
Damn.
the move. It's crazy. I don't know how he does it.
that work ethic, man.
It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
That's why he's killing it, though. You know,
Yeah.
he's got that. He's got that drive. He's got it for sure. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So
100%.
not that John doesn't have drive, but John he walks into a room and just shit gets done. Like he's got a whole different persona on work. Like he shows up and in sandals, shorts, the hair, like walks in, flips the hair real quick, and just get.
It must be nice
nice
to be able to
work miracles
The rest of us have to work
like Billy. It's like a grind.
John
Doesn't
grind.
I mean, we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but I mean, I do
John
because
Autel?
I've hung out with
John's
John.
lifting weights.
I've hung out with John long after hours, probably longer than I should. But man, I'm looking forward to hanging out with.
Yeah. Goal's not to drink an entire bottle of whiskey this time.
Well, no, that's why I
Last
started.
week.
That's why I started with a half a bottle.
All right.
I started with a half bottle, so I can't drink a full one. See how that works?
Yep.
Genius.
It's dangerous. Audio warbles.
Audio.
There's
I see my
audio
camera
warbles.
warbles. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't.
Oh, yeah, it is.
My camera's jacking up, but that's been par for the course for a little while now.
Yeah, it's all good. People just like hearing our voices.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
What do you have planned for Christmas? What we got going on for Christmas?
So Christmas is a little rough for me. So I did have a huge family loss. I actually lost my mother on Christmas back like 9 years ago. So it's one of those things where
It's like I love the
whole
whole.
Jesus story. Love everything about Christmas. I've got 4 awesome freaking kids. I love spoiling the shit out of them and giving them presents that they don't deserve. So I mean, I love the whole Christmas, but it is that weird little. There's always that thing in the back of my mind. So Christmas is kind of tough for me. But back
Up to New York, visit family,
and
ultimately just hang out with people
that I
that
haven't seen in 6-8 months. You know, that's up in New York. We're down here in Tennessee. But
Yeah, that's great.
yeah. What are you doing for Christmas?
It's good to see family. I'm also visiting family. Got a quick trip next week. I'm basically like traveling cross country, going to California next week, and then flying from California to New Jersey, where my family's based. Yeah, I'm staying for about 10 days. Just hang out with some friends from college and whatnot. Hang out with my girlfriend because her family's there as well. Do a Christmas dinner, and then be on our way back. And then let's CES.
Mm. Hey, CES is a little ways off. We got 3 weeks, something like that, right?
I think so, right?
I don't know.
It's like
We need to
mid-
actually book shit for CES.
First week. Yes.
Did you
Already book your shit?
You never sent it to me.
Nope. I didn't
Oh,
book
man.
anything yet.
That's going to be my job tomorrow. Got to get CES figured out. That is one of those that,
Nice. Jake's gonna be
oh,
there.
man. Oh, there's going to be so many people there. Oh, Jake said big hugs, Jeff. Thanks, Mackie.
Aw.
Dude,
Shout out to Jake Mackey. Adderall.
it'll be good times.
Weber Ken,
Super good times.
Arm US. Great dude. Also, he's like two neighbors to McBride.
Jake's not RMUS anymore. Adorama.
Ex Arm US. Adorama.
RMUS, gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. He will be there. Who else is going to CES? I mean, I know the whole Autel team's going.
let us
We're
know.
going to hang out with a bunch of them. But yeah, if you're at CES, hit us up. Facebook message me.
Me, hit up Bobby.
We'll be there. We might even do a live
Drones After Dark podcast.
podcast while we're there, which should be
Oh.
super freaking exciting. There's no telling what might happen after hours there. Good stuff.
I know for sure the Autel party is going to be banging. It's going to be a
Oh.
crazy party.
Yeah.
Autel spends big bucks. Big
Yep.
bucks. That's their show.
Yep. Be graced by the likes of, people like Max and McBride and, Kay. Hell, I haven't seen Kay in a long while. It's been a little bit. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with him too. He's my scotch drinker. When I need a scotch suggestion, oh dude, he loves his scotch. When I need a suggestion for a decent scotch, I call Kay.
Nice. Shout out to
He knows
Matt
what he's
as
talking
well,
about, too.
and Keith.
Yeah, Matt,
sales
Keith,
side of things?
the whole team. Man. Dude,
If you haven't
drank with Matt, you haven't drank.
Oh man,
I mean that.
Matt's a trip. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's not that many conferences going on. We're just gonna do more Drones After Dark, I guess, until we can actually booze in person.
Yep. Definitely looking forward to it. I mean, that's just it. There's definitely events popping up. We're getting emails and stuff. Everybody wants us there. I don't know why. I haven't figured that out yet, but I get
think they want our money.
Oh my God. Let me tell you. So on the attendee side,
Even on the business side of things,
like I love. Holy shit!
are they racketeering?
Like that is the biggest Teamster. It's unbelievable. They charge for a
Plug, and they bring you like
a little a
Radio
Radio Shack extension cord that has like.
and they're like, okay, here you go.
Fuck, was it $2.50 a pound? They didn't want us carrying our own shit in. They're like, oh no, if it has wheels, we have to take it. The dragonfish case. I'm like, no, it's got wheels for a reason. We'll roll it in. They're like, oh no, we have to carry wheels. We have to
roll it in
for you. And 50 cents a pound
Times 99 pounds
for
for
that
the
dragonfish case. I was like, nope, we'll carry it. Thanks. So I grabbed one hand. We had 3 people carrying it in. But man, they make $1 off of everything as far as the people that put on the shows. Oh, the amount of money dumped into
It's crazy.
conferences is insane.
They brand it as like Freeman. It's the Freeman. They're union workers and all that shit. And I don't know. They're like they need the money and the sob stories and everything. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, sad. So
This, I mean,
you find that in every industry, I guess. But
Yeah.
Tony said audio is drunk already. I wonder what's up with that. I mean, I know I was having audio. I replaced some cables last week.
It could be your internet speed. It says your video is 41% uploaded. Normally it's 99% uploaded.
Yeah.
But your video looks amazing. So I don't know what's going on.
Let's
check my speed tester.
So I found out I got the lowdown on my internet. So my internet
My downs are
back to normal. But yeah, Comcast has been in the neighborhood, or Xfinity or whoever the hell we have now. It's not horrible. But yeah, so they've been digging up the fiber lines and replacing them, and what a clusterfuck. Like, when you need internet, when your sole job relies on your connection to the world, losing internet is horrible. It sucks. And then everything runs off your phone, and phone's always slow, and you know, it is what it is. But so
Yeah, it's just the conference racketeer. I mean, we've gone to so many conferences. We were doing probably 3 conferences a month up until November, I'd say, and then we took a break. But man, so many conferences, so many hidden expenses. It got to a point where Katie, our events coordinator, marketing coordinator, she was like, "Bobby, just don't check your credit card account. just don't look at it. You don't want to see the crazy shit that they bill us. It's nuts." And this is for every industry. It's not just the drone industry. Freeman exists for every single conference out there. I was looking at like rock climbing conferences, and same exact thing.
So for anyone that runs a company or a business or anything like that, the biggest tip we learned was at where was it?
AppsCon, the Airborne Public Safety Conference.
So we were there, and the booth across from us, it looked freaking
good. It had
the
fake leather couches and
pedestals and all sorts of really, really nice shit. They're like, yeah, we don't rent anything from the conference. To rent shit from the conference, you're looking at $30,000. You'll break the bank. But they order everything off of Wayfair and Amazon, and like they said they spent like $400 building their booth and just had all the shit delivered. I had the shit delivered to
the conference, and
they build
it
and
and put it
together there. And then when they're done, they call like Habitat for Humanity or, one of those places that'll come and collect it. And they'll go and they'll, basically donate all of their shit, and they'll just leave it because it's 1/100th of the price what it would cost to rent all that shit. And then you get your booth, you get to set everything up how you want, but then you just set it and forget it. You don't have to ship anything back. You don't. Amazing piece of advice. Those guys were awesome.
That we
That was
used
super helpful.
Yeah,
we did.
Airworks. We ended up doing
Airworks.
that.
We
got,
did.
What, the couch thing, the purple chairs, all that stuff.
I don't know what couch you're talking about. We did not, absolutely did not leave anything. GI Airworks.
We did not get emails from Airworks saying, "Hey, did anyone leave a couch?"
Like, no. Ooh.
Somebody else left a black couch. It wasn't us.
Speak for yourself. I never got that email. Oh man. We did donate it? What did we do? We donated it. Come on.
We tried. It wasn't us that left it. There was a company supposed to come pick it up, and maybe they didn't. But there was definitely an email that went out that said, "Hey, by the way, if you left a black couch and this nice round table and
someone left, not us, of course.
But if you left this stuff, come and claim it, or else it's going to be garbage. It's going to be trash." Well, we obviously didn't claim it. We were gone by then. Not that it was ours, because we wouldn't do that, but
wasn't ours.
yeah.
Well,
What?
We're more conscientious of conferences in the future, so we're definitely not going to do any sort of getting scammed by the Freeman. That's for sure. Jake Mackey says he got charged $400 to use a power outlet.
Yeah.
Would you do it at a conference?
I'm thinking I'm going to start charging people to charge their cell phones. Like, yeah, no, we've got an outlet for you, like $15, and you can charge for an hour. Cut some of that.
No.
Some of that down. Maybe.
Yeah, something like. Dang.
Yep.
That's nuts. Well, we don't have any conferences for a while, so we're just.
Which is kind of sad.
Who knows? Let's throw a Skybrows conference. Let's raise our Series A and throw a Skybrows conference.
I think we should. You know what? I can tell you this. People would attend. Good God.
It's because we'd just be fucking
Like,
partying for 3 days straight.
Of
We'd
course.
just be boozing nonstop.
It would be business time. We make good software. People would show up for that. And then I know you mentioned some other things we've got in the pipe. Like, yeah, it's good stuff. How about a
Nice
trade
one.
for services? Brandon, I've been to enough conferences
With you to know.
With the shenanigans that you get involved in, there's no telling what you mean by services. Oh
Yes,
God.
I have no gag reflex if my phone is at 8%. Oh my god.
Oh man. So
Oh man.
there's an awesome crowd that follows us and talks to us, and we all hang out and so on and so forth. Brandon is one of those fine gentlemen. So the second that I posted that John McBride was going to be joining us today, my Facebook feed just never did I think I was going to have to moderate my. Thanks, Tony. I actually had to delete shit off of my own Facebook feed. You fucking nut. But all good, kind-hearted people posting ass pics for the world to see. You know, it's nonstop.
We just attract so much ass from middle-aged men. You know, it just comes nonstop.
He says, "Yay me!" Oh, good God. But no, I told the story about son, and the first time that I ever realized Tony's presence was through Facebook. Some really good beef jerky. Slap Tony's meat in their mouth, and they salivate over it. They love it. But yeah, John's son, he was going through the cancer and the chemo and this, that, and the other, and Tony sent him a care package of some jerky, some prime smoked, like looked amazing. And this box was straight wrapped in Pornhub tape. And I mean, into the hospital. Like, can you imagine the nurses carrying this box in to hand to a kid sitting in there just wrapped in Pornhub tape? You're absolutely brilliant.
It's disgusting.
Oh, genius.
It's disgusting.
Ken said made from rat meat, but it's good. It doesn't matter what it's made out of as long as it tastes good, right? Oh, man. Speaking of McBride, where is he at? Like, is he saving people right now, or?
He left our waiting room. Oh no, he's still here.
Oh, all right. Don't be just leaving him hanging. I mean, or you can. He's got a couple more minutes to hang out in the waiting room. We're like late night with David Letterman. We have a waiting room. We should do the little pop-in where they open the door and say, "Hey," close the door and have
his guest later. Maybe we should do something
like that.
Mm.
No. Okay.
But it's got to be within the 2-hour time limit, though. We are not staying up late. Man, I got to do work after this.
No, Jake said.
Oh. Well, let's see what happens when I press this. Did anything happen?
Oh, here we go. Oh, the fucking legend.
Oh my. What is that?
Oh, man.
John, you're a rock star, man.
Wow.
Oh, you guys are too funny.
Brad?
How you doing?
Doing well. Another great day of, hanging out in the drone world, if you will, and doing the million things I do. And yes, I am drinking a coffee with my little bit of rum, and we got this. Actually, I wanted to self-promote. We went down to Vegas and we got this from the Lost Spirits Distillery, and it was really a really fun trip. It was a cool place to go if you've ever, go to experience a distillery with a bunch of crazy people that dress real weird like me and my lady. That's a great place to go. So in honor of that, I've got a couple bottles of that. Usually don't like to mix your rum together, but hey, it is what it is tonight, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
So
what you're saying is
Autel Robotics.
What you're saying is UAS Jesus went to Lost Spirit.
Oh yeah.
Does anyone else see the
for sure? Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, we were totally lost.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, John, we go back to 2016, I think it was. Met in Virginia, hung out, got hammered. There's some thermal pictures of us all sitting on a couch getting stupid. I know we hung out for freaking hours that night, literally tearing down an M600 and talking about thermal imaging and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Since then, we've had plenty of time to booze together. So I have heard several stories.
Infamous
Mr. McBride, what is your most exciting or stupid drone story that you possibly could tell right now and not get fired from Autel? Or tell one of the stories that you
Starting off
can
at
tell that you.
100%.
I want to hear it. That's why. That's why.
here.
Well, you know, I do have a lot of stories, and I can tell you that, you know, I mean, there are some that would be relatively bad, you know, others that could be a little bit more, you know, fun on what we've done over the years. But, you know, really honestly, you know, I think the funnest one that that I could share is even though this might be a little sensitive to some people, was the fact, and I said I've shared this one a few times, but when there was some kid that like posted a video of a drone flying in a forest, and he was and he was shooting, you know, at like a 9mm or something like that on the front end, and man, it just, all these people were just, I couldn't tell you how many tags I got on that one video of, holy crap, John, can you believe what's going on here? That they've got, you know, a gun on a drone, and I all I could think of and respond back was, what, he only put one on there, only one, you know. I mean, it's a single shot, you know, bink, bink, you know. And I'm not promoting putting guns on drones at all, but I mean, this kind of gives you a little backstory that I've done a lot of crazy things, you know, that are outside of what you would typically do with a drone. And a lot of those requests were initially weaponizing a drone, you know, they were. I mean, that's, and I say it often, you know, if you can drop water bottles. I know you had Kyle Norford's on here last week, and if you could drop water bottles and cell phones and all, I mean, why can't you drop other things that are not, you know, great? So, you know, it's going to happen. People are going to do it. It's part of the every, you know, it's part of what people are going to do. So anyway, it wasn't a crazy story of what I did. I just thought I mean, I literally probably had 300, 400 people just tagging me in this one video over and over and over and over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, okay, somebody put a gun on a drone. Cool. You know, cool. That's it.
But there's been crazier stories with drones. I mean, drones can be easily used for nefarious purposes. In 2019, I was in Dubai for a few months working with Dubai police. And one of the generals there met up with me after hours, and we were smoking hookah and chatting. And he was like, "Hey, so can your drones like fly around in a perimeter and like detect people?" I'm like, "Yeah, we could probably code that up." Midnight Sun, 3 years later. But he was like, "Okay, cool. Now can you put lasers on drones?" I'm like, "What kind of lasers are you talking about?" He shows me a video on his phone. It's a fucking railgun. He's like, "Can you put a railgun on a drone and just vaporize, zap that person into like nothingness?" What? No, that's not.
Well, it's you know, like I said, it's not a real sensitive thing to talk about. You know, like I said, it's being done right now, today, over in, you know, in wartime. It's happening right now. It's something that, you know, it's another one of those things that people always bring up, that, hey, every time a video shows up with somebody doing something bad, that somehow we're all going to get in trouble for it, or they're going to change the rules and do all of this stuff. And, you know, that's just not the case in this industry. You know, we're seeing a lot of changes that are positive in drone use, but even with the negative things that happen, you know, we're still going to progress and still continue to go. We're still figure it out. We still have to have hope that we're not all just, you know, going to get affected by one single person. We don't do that in the car bomb, you know, ideas of somebody putting a car bomb and shutting everybody's cars off. We don't do that with airplanes when somebody decides to do something bad with those. We don't do that, you know, and eventually it'll just be a thing, you know, and we'll get over it, you know.
Well,
so
speaking of hope, let's talk about strip clubs. What's the story of
Brandon.
you taking the NIST guy to the strip club for his first time?
me.
And he felt, Brandon said
And he fell
taking the
in love.
NIST guy to the strip club for his first time ever, and he fell in love.
What's the
All
story
right, I
behind
know
this?
I know you were talking about you were talking about trade shows earlier and going to shows and things like that. It's almost natural that when you're out on the road, you're going to go to these kinds of places, whether it's the bar, the club, hanging out in somebody's freaking hotel room doing stupid shit, right? So it doesn't really matter. But in this case, yeah, you know,
He says, "Yeah."
yeah, in this case, yeah. Um, and again, the frequency of trade shows that I've been to, just in 2017, just to guys give, how many trade shows can you go to? I have no idea. But in 2017, just in Vegas alone, I went to 14 shows in just Vegas. That didn't include going to Airworks or anything else. That was just what was going on in Vegas. And because it's only 6 hours away and easy to get to, for me anyway, it just kind of makes sense to go there, right? A little bit more difficult for people to come from the east to go there. But, when I would get there, and talking about the strip club, anytime anybody showed up, they're like, hey, you come here all the time. You come here all the time. You must know where all the strip clubs are, John. Like, tell us which ones are the best. And I'm like, is that like a thing with me? I guess it is, since you brought it up.
Oh man.
So which ones are the best?
I could just say, don't go to the Palomino. That's pretty nasty one. It's just a Palomino. If you've never heard it, there's a reason why. In Vegas.
Is that what
So-
this guy fell in love?
Yeah. But literally,
Dirty boy.
yeah,
Loved you
literally
long
fell in love
time.
down there. Yeah, and I had to
Oh,
talk him
man.
out of not going. Yeah, this is a show. It's that they're here for whatever they're here for. You don't need to go home with her.
So
Or
much
try
for what
to.
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, huh?
Yeah, you messed it up, Jeff. You brought it up.
No, it's the
Brand,
chat. It's the
Brandon
chat
brought it
bringing
up.
this up.
Yeah, the chat brought it up. So
Oh, call him out.
I gotta say, one of my favorite John McBride stories. Not that I can say it's a John McBride story, but we were sitting there boozing one night, and you were talking about how certain drones are not gonna injure you if they fly. Like, they might cut you, you might get a scratch, you might get a paper cut, but it's not gonna be a mortal wound. And we got to talking. You're like, listen, I know because we've gotten drunk enough and flown phantoms into each other aggressively for shits and giggles. Like,
I don't remember this story.
but
There
that's
may have-
15 years ago. The Phantom we're talking.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was before it could get here. So it made it much safer back then to be able to do dumb stuff with phantoms.
But that's just it. The biggest issue there would be getting your hair tangled. You're not worried about the fatal wound of getting hit by a phantom.
You cut this body. It's been cut a million times. It's perfectly fine. But man, you get a cut in my hair and I have to cut it out. That's a problem. That sucks.
Yep. Nightmare even.
Yeah.
Man, looking at
I
your
don't know.
older pictures, looking at all the pictures of you in the Marines, like, what was it like, no hair versus now? Is it an extra 2 hours in the shower? Like,
Well, I took a shower before I showed up tonight. I did take a shower. I washed my hair so it'd be all fluffy for you. It's still drying. I had Angelique drying it out, and she's making it all pretty for me. And but no, as far as growing it out to be in all reality. I mean, my friends that have known me, Jake Mackey being one of them, online here. I my hair was shaved. For the longest time, it was very, very short. I grew it out on top a little bit, but yeah, it wasn't a thing until about 2014 that I kind of tried it, like 13 maybe, that I was like kind of growing it out. And as soon as it starts touching my ears, man, that's when I was like, I can't do it. I got to cut it off. I can't do it, But there's a really terrible picture of me doing a demonstration. I think it was about 2012, maybe 13. I can't remember. In Box Elder County, and I actually have my hand out, with a drone. And if you Googled that, you could probably find it. John McBride, Box Elder County, and you can see, this rat nest of shit back there while I've got my hand out, trying to catch a phantom out of the air. Pretty nasty. It was pretty, and it was that phase of just, Then, like I said, now I get it cut, and I have to get it trimmed. And one of the spots that I had always said, that especially at RMUS when I was there, as it became longer, my logo, was right here, and that was my spot to cut my hair. Every time I get it to go, and I'm doing videos, and hey, it's John McBride at RMUS, but that was my position of going, okay, I got to go get a haircut because it's covering the logo. So coincidentally, last year at CES, and now that I'm again with Autel, I kind of let it go a little bit longer. And Frank, the owner of Autel Robotics at CES, walks by and he goes, because I did have my shirt on with my logo, and he literally did that, walked by and moved it out of the way, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I gotta go get my hair cut.
Oh man.
At least it's long enough you can sling it back though. Like,
it slings it. Yeah, it's a pain in my ass. I will tell you that. I ain't gonna lie. So, tell me a little bit about this headband you got going on. What do you got going on there, Bobby?
dude, he loves that
right
fucking
before
thing.
every single Drones After Dark episode, I go rock climbing. So this is just to keep my hair back. My hair is not as long as yours, and it's only on one side because the rest of my head is shaved. Just the top part isn't.
Yeah.
And it just kind of gets all over the place if I go rock climbing.
I don't know. Yours is growing pretty fast. Last time I saw it, it wasn't that long. It's growing pretty fast.
It's like
That looks pretty
nipple
good.
level at this point.
Nipple level. Yeah.
I put it in the bun when I go to sleep.
Watch out, nipple level.
Nipple up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, I use my glasses all the time for the headband. That's what I use. People usually see me. They're like, it's odd to see you without your glasses on and my hair actually in front of my face, and yeah. So I use it for the hairband instead of using a purple hairband like you. But
dude, he sports that headband when he goes.
Doesn't matter if it's dark. Just always have them.
Tony's getting hot with all this hair. We might need to move on to a different conversation.
Oh boy,
I wouldn't want to mess up
Post
Tony's
pictures in the chat,
jerky.
right?
What's up?
You can't post pictures in the chat, right?
I don't know. It'd be a bad day
No
if you could.
pictures allowed.
oh man, Jake calling me out on the Facebooks, man, on the interwebs. Yeah.
Oh,
Drones
anybody
need to-
though.
Yeah.
Anybody that's flown a collective pitch helicopter has wrecked him.
Oh, there's no doubt. But let me talk about this story for just a second, because it is another good story. Jake is one of my great friends. I will tell you that. He is really, a long-term, great guy. Worked with me at RMUS. Was one of my guys there. Prior to that, he would come into my hobby shop that I was running prior to RMUS. And before that, the first time meeting him, he had just spent all this money, all this stuff to get a collective pitch helicopter put together. And there was
What
a
helicopter was it?
450.
Okay.
It was a 450. But I will tell you, Jeff, this kid would come in my hobby shop and sit down on the simulator
And wear it out.
Holy fuck.
Hell yeah.
I mean, and guess what? Never touched a real helicopter in his life. Never touched a real heli in his life, and was just, he would literally get a small little crowd behind the people watching him, me included. I don't even know what this kid's doing. And he still does that to this day. I still don't know how he does what he does, right? But anyway, he comes out, he talks to, some people, and they're like, hey, you should talk to John. And he finds out, I'm his neighbor, literally lived, down the street from him, brings his heli over. And he just got this thing built, just made. And I was doing some adjustments and took off and seemed to be okay, brought it back down, made some more adjustments. And the adjustment specifically was adjusting pitch versus the throttle curve, right? I was wanting to change the throttle curve, and I ended up changing the pitch. And so when I came back to take off, I pushed up, and it came off the ground perfectly fine, but would come down, and it still went
Wham!
up.
Oh man.
Oh, so it was still climbing while I was trying to pull down collective pitch, So, yeah, I mean, woo, goes right over the top of our heads and smashes right into my goddamn driveway right in front of my truck. And the part that's really tough with Jake on this story is that he comes to the hobby shop after I crashed the shit out of his helicopter, and he's like, "Hey, I need to get some parts for my heli," and I'm like, "Yeah, here they are." And he's like,
man.
"Well, you crashed my shit, dude. Like, help me out, help a brother out. You're the one that did it." And I'm like, "Yeah, man." So that's my story with Jake Mackey, which is again, one of my great friends for years.
So this one, Jake is smarter than I am. So I learned to fly RC on collective pitch helicopters. I was like, wow, that's fucking cool. I'm gonna go buy one. I bought a 500. I didn't go for the little shit. Bought a 500. We're talking, a decent size RC heli.
Yeah.
Probably spent $600-700 said and done. After
The first time I flew, it probably cost me another $300 to rebuild.
rebuild it. Second time I flew, there was another $300 to rebuild it. Third time I flew, same shit. Probably had $2,000 into a $600 helicopter before I had any idea what was going on. And then I was introduced to the simulator, and I was like, "Where the fuck were these when I bought the damn helicopter?" Like,
oh yeah,
Jake, being
Yeah,
as
and I
smart
think
as
that,
Jake is, got on the sim first.
Well, he, like I said, it was very impressive, no doubt. It's impressive today when he even gets on a heli, and as you become a little bit more comfortable, anybody, starts to become a bit more comfortable with operating RC. And again, that's, it's almost what I started in 1986 with radio controlled, and fixed wing was what I started with. But, eventually I did get into helis, but there's no way I could fly it like that, no way. And even I don't fly that way today. But, to be honest, the UAV side of things, I used the helis back in those days to do the work that we're doing today. It was expensive, it was hard to fly, all of that, all of those things that were part of trying to get people to, do what we're doing with the drones today. So, but it eventually, crossed over to the multi-rotor, and much easier for people to operate and still do the same thing without as much, knowledge that they would need to have in order to do it with a collective heli. So
and the maintenance. Oh god.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean that's RC wise, that's what got me into this world, and that's it's always been a passion, a tinkerer, a maker. If you want to call it a hobbyist, it's fine. And then I get into some other damn hobby that some a-hole freaking got me into.
No idea what you're talking about.
These damn things, it's just, again, something to build, something to make, and it's Jeff's fault. I am blaming it on him.
I can
Where are
blame
my
for a
Lego
lot.
lovers? Post in the chat.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
Come on,
fucking
raise your
love
hand.
my Lego.
Who are the
I
Lego
mean,
lovers?
I've got my, I probably need to actually take out more insurance, a rider on my homeowner's insurance for my Lego set. I probably got $50,000 or $60,000 in Lego. And it's one of those things that now it's like, no, honey, no, we absolutely do need that Lego set. Like, the kids would love that. She's like, you're getting that shit for yourself. It's like,
Getting it for myself, but that's
because we can't spend $600 on the kids for Lego, but the kids would love it. That's really why I want to buy it. So I get to pawn off a bunch of shit on the kids. But yeah, I mean, Lego is truly an investment, and anybody that has gotten balls deep into Lego knows. I mean, it's a constant.
Well,
thing.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, I like to build things. I've always liked to build things. That's why, again, I'm doing what I do today, because I like to fiddle and mess and build and create, right? I've always loved to do that since I was a kid. But what was hard is that, here I don't know, 40, 50 airplanes. I have like 10 choppers. I can't tell you what the drone freaking thing looks like. But, I have no idea. But at the end of the day, I meet this lady, Angelie, who, initially comes in my basement and goes, holy what is all this? First time she'd ever been down there, and I got all this stuff strewn about, servos and batteries and airframes and shit everywhere. And she tells me, hey, I would be interested in like learning about this. And I'm like, what did you say? What did you say? So she built her. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, So she ended up building her own aircraft, but built her own plane, and we went out and flew it. We continued on, with her learning how to fly. But the problem with it, with building, because she loved building, is that in the hobby side of things, or in the RC side of things, you kind of need to know what you're doing when you're putting things together. Programming, radio, setup. And it wasn't anything that she really had enough experience to do by herself while I was traveling and going away. So even though I do partly blame your Lego addiction, now my addiction, on that, but honestly, she really, it was something for her to do while I was gone. And I was going to show, she got done building that thing.
I love that set, the Home Alone set.
Oh yeah. So I post it online all the time because it's easy for her to assemble, easy for her to do, but I don't play with them. Right. I mean, you put them together and you just kind of look at them. Whereas on the hobby side, you put them together, you go out there, you play with them, whack them, crash them, bang them, fix them. But that was really the true story behind that is the Legos have become a really fun thing for her to do and stay entertained with something that keeps her building and moving and creating, and without my supervision on building RC stuff. Because I can tell you, I've got dozens of planes that she could build all day long and never run out of things to do. But I always have to go buy Lego sets to keep her entertained. So
dude, I love her too, man. She's absolutely awesome. And people don't understand my Lego obsession. Like, yes, I like to build things and I like to solder and I like to tinker and so on. They're like, but you don't get that from Lego.
It's not the same
building things. You're still doing stuff with your hands, but the difference is the detail and the shit. Like putting the Titanic together, it's like there's a fucking pool in this thing. How did Lego do that? Yeah. Or the Home Alone set, even the minifigures. Dude has an iron stamped on his face. Like those little teeny tiny details are every time I run into one, it's like, that's awesome. Like,
yeah. Well, did you want to talk more drone? What do you guys want to talk about? What's the next subject, Bobby?
Okay. Well, Adrian Doko asks about another story of yours. He's asking about the time we flew the dragonfish in Alaska and found Bigfoot taking a dump. What's going on over there?
Well, now I can talk about it because goddamn it, Adrian, they canceled the goddamn show. So just we were really hush-hush about it because of the, they had basically Expedition Bigfoot. Expedition Bigfoot is the name of the show. The producers reached out to Autel because they saw the dragonfish and capability and everything else. They reached out to us and wanted to kind of show some technology of looking for Bigfoot and have the actors running around doing their thing, and actually looking for Sasquatch out there. And I thought that would be really cool. Absolutely cool to be able to participate in something like that. Plus, you're kind of on the big screen to try to highlight the capabilities of the dragonfish. So on a marketing level, on an operational level, another one operationally is that we were up in the mountains of freaking Juneau, Alaska. I didn't know how specifically how the dragonfish was going to act up there, So I invited, Tommy. Tommy was my marketing manager at the time. I saw Tommy was on watching too. Another great fellow of mine, by the way, one of the greatest people out there. So Tommy Gunn, myself, and of course my good friend Adrian Doko, headed up there to Juneau to go look for Bigfoot, and that we were hoping that the show would air, but again it got canceled. But we had a great time up there. We did not end up at any strip clubs, but we did, however, end up in a great place to eat fantastic crab.
That's exactly what Adrian just said. He said best king crab in the world.
Oh yeah, I mean, holy cow! And when and the chunks of that stuff. Oh man, they were huge. So, but it was a great experience. I will tell you that it offered a lot of showing capability. Because like I said, I'm a dork anyway when it comes down to operating stuff, and that was the thing. It was a really great experience to share with my friends. Tommy and Adrian, and specifically having Adrian assist in safety side of things, making sure we were, staying on top of the regs and whatnot. Adrian supervising that was super helpful, and hopefully, it was to also help kind of get some opportunity for him, as a classy dragonfish helper. But nobody needs. Adrian doesn't need any help. Man, he's a kick-ass rock
Oh,
star in this
hell
industry.
yeah. Yep.
So he doesn't need John McBride to do anything for that. He's a
So
kick-ass son of a bitch.
so let's talk dragonfish. Like, I love Adrian to death too. We spent way
Me too, getting hammered.
and I felt like trash the next day. 'Cause that he was another one. We sat after hours and talked to him for an hour and a half after.
Yeah.
Rolling back to the dragonfish. Obviously, you're with Autel now. Um, I've flown the dragonfish. I actually have one in my possession, thanks to a good friend of mine. Um, that's John McBride, by the way.
Oh, you're
Um,
welcome. Oh, you should thank that guy.
um, but no, I've used it real world. We've had manhunts with it and all sorts of stuff. We were flying it under an SGI at 1,000 feet. We had a BVLS waiver in place, so we could fly it out 6 miles. I know it'll go way farther than that because at 6 miles it was absolutely stellar. It did everything we needed it to do for the manhunt stuff. Hearing
Mhm.
that it's being used for Bigfoot searches, and we used it for manhunts for law enforcement and so on and so forth.
This is right there. What else are people using?
Using them for.
Well, a lot of the customers that ended up buying dragonfish, absolutely in the public safety sector, that's kind of what it was engineered for, is a bit more of the public safety thought process of what, doing ISR type applications. And so that's kind of where it fell into line. As far as more recent use cases, yeah, I mean, we had Hurricane Ian come through, and luckily, if you want to call that, we already had several dragonfish deployed, or basically, down there in Fort Myers. Lee County owns two of them, and adjacent county, Collier, owns one. So they were absolutely using and focusing on deployment of that during that time. We had additional two others down there flying around, and one of the insurance companies that ended up with one using that, for insurance stuff, but as well, giving real time data to the emergency management guys they were working with. So it proved really well in lieu of a major incident like that. We have other, use cases of border patrol, type stuff going on in Texas, and I've got three in Arizona, so three in Oklahoma for that OBN has. So there's a really good, like I said, it's more kind of focused for the public safety sector, but a lot of people always ask. I just did a webinar with drone nerds this last week, or I'm sorry, this just like, when was that? Yesterday. Kind of outlining, some of their sales and some of their stuff. We have also four of them flying over the World Cup right now. Four dragonfish in Qatar
Huge, yeah.
flying over the World Cup. So,
Damn.
yeah. So when you're talking about these events where, the use cases demand a longer flight time, demand not necessarily the distance that you say, but that fidelity of the imagery coming back to you. I mean, if you can go far, you're hoping that you stay solid on the connection and the video stream. So those are real time, and again, it's a real time decision making tool. What you
Hmm.
see, you're making decisions right now based on those actions right now. Whereas mapping or searching, it might be a little bit more of taking pictures, imagery, not really designed for that at this time. But could we have payloads a little bit better for that? Sure. That is absolutely something that we can consider, developing in the future. And with that being said, being able to sky browse it, if you will, bringing on that level of any, sky browse use, uploading from, Dragonfish or any of the other stuff would be also a really good, possibility, so, but this brings into that play of understanding the sensors and capability and, trying to create, deliverables that make sense, at the end of the day. So a lot of use cases, a lot of capabilities. I will say, because again, I'm kind of a dork in that way of being impressed by technology. I was really impressed by the Dragonfish. There were a lot of challenges that VTOL in general have, being a big flying airplane, it's an airplane. And when it's on the ground getting pushed around by the wind, an airplane gets pushed around, so those are real challenges for any VTOL in the transition and the takeoff and the stability during that critical time. It's critical when it's starting to gain speed to use its wing. I was thoroughly impressed by the capabilities of the Dragonfish. I was down there in Texas, flying at the Reveille Ranch, and it was windy. It was windy as shit.
He was flying blindfolded.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I was just like, holy cow. Miami was another one, holy cow. It was just, and I didn't think that the performance was going to be optimal, and it did fine, So with that being said, that long flight time, zinging around, it's beautiful in the sky,
It is absolutely. I've flown several VTOLs. I have not seen one transition like that thing does.
It's beautiful in the sky, I mean,
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm very proud of the team that has actually put it together. I haven't had much initial input on the development of it, like other, manufacturers I've worked with, but to kind of continue helping develop the app and helping develop the new payloads and helping give that insight from our customers, and that's really, it makes it's a badass machine.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
coincidentally, I'm here in Utah, so I've got an office here. I just created, started, opened, whatever you want to call it. Moved all the Dragonfish, inventory down here to Utah from Bothell, and now I've got training guys, repair going to be happening, shipping in and out with that, demo units back and forth if there's anything wrong with them. So, I'm a firm believer in the Dragonfish. I think it can really impact those capabilities in any public safety setting, any. So
Jake said my ass puckered tight at the Miami building collapse. I can say.
Oh yeah, there was this one time that Jake showed up with me. Another one of those fun stories. Should I embellish?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Go for it.
Well, Jake was wearing a dress that day. I don't know if he put that in the chat.
No, he didn't, but
oh well,
you can embellish on that as well.
No, I mean, again, a very windy situation. We were there. I mean, to be honest, the collapse happened. Very terrible event. Emergency people all over the place when we got there. We literally showed up in the fourth quarter, on the fourth down of the last play. As far as the situation went. Invited there by my good friend, Justin Adams, and his team, Dave Merrick and them, invited down there to see how the Dragonfish would work in that setting as an Overwatch, tool. We had FEMA guys, had everybody there to kind of observe and watch and do. Well, earlier in the day, Jake and I went out there. We did a test flight, no problem. Everything worked fine. But then when, of course, everybody shows up, that's when shit hits the fan.
Murphy's Law.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it takes off vertically, same route I flew earlier, but we had a slight shift in the wind, so that the wind was blowing at the same direction that the aircraft was going, and he's calling out VO for me. We're at 150, 200. 250, and that's the transition height. Starts going, and it starts dropping its tail, and almost noses straight up. And as I'm paying attention to what's going on the screen, I hear this, whoa, 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 and I look up, and sure as shit, fish is like, wee, doing a freaking full-on hover down the way, and I'm like, ah! So I flip right over to manual, kick its ass to get moving again. We absolutely had some diamond creating pucker and shit that day. Holy cow, between the two of us, but it went great. After that. But that transition, I use that as a training tool now to be very aware, of the stall capability of when that critical time, like I said, and trying not to get people to transition downwind, and it isn't anything that as an RC guy I don't know. It's just that you don't know what it is at 250 feet wind direction and what's going on versus what's down here. My hair's blowing this way, but up there it's blowing in the same direction as the bird going, So these are things, in that line of doing crazy shit that you learn. So, and I use that as a training aid, absolutely, to make sure people don't, consider, or wouldn't, have an incident with the fish. But thanks, Jake.
When we were out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Thanks, Jake.
You're like, yeah. Do not transition downwind. Do not transition downwind. Do not transition downwind.
Yeah.
So, John, you've had so much experience with drones in the past. I mean, you've been around since like the invention of drones. So, what's new
since like 180?
Yeah. Robotics. What's going on? What's new? What's the newest, latest, and greatest thing that Autel is going to show off? Max.
Oh,
gonna
shit.
show off Max.
Well,
Max. I got this email about Max. I was picturing like Max, like
Max walking
and like, hi, I'm here to show off. Like, we all know that's not really what's being demoed at CES. Like,
well,
Max.
as far as an organization, we all love Max. Just kind of, trying to. And when that email went out, of course, I've got. I've got Angelise. I got Angelise sitting here next to me, and I hadn't seen the post. Yeah, I hadn't seen it, and literally she asked that, "Hey, what's this Meet Max? At CES?" And I'm like, "Meet Max? What is that?" She's like, "I don't know. Don't people know who Max is?"
No,
so
meet and greet. You gotta.
It's a meet and greet. Yeah, we're gonna put him in the flight cage.
Wait in line like the rest of us.
We're putting him in the flight cage, Bobby. He's just going to stay there. Peanut gallery thing, if you love or hate,
Shake his hand.
We haven't told him
Give him
this
a high
yet.
five. Get an autograph. Get a signed Evo from him.
Picture like the Boston Robotics thing at AVUSI where Spot was walking up the stairs and down the stairs and then around and over stuff. I just picture Max in his own little cage, like walking up the stairs and down the stairs and then waving to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
that's what we're looking for. So, all right, Bobby. So obviously, we don't have Max flight cage, but meet Max. That's where we're at. What is it going to look like? What is it? I gotta come and see.
I'll be there.
I will be there also, coincidentally.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, John,
what is your
all-time favorite show attended?
Oh, that's a great question.
In RC or tech space. Doesn't have to be drones necessarily, but as a whole, robotics.
I don't think this is any secret because I think I've been asked this before, but I will no doubt say that the Virginia conference was always my favorite conference. And just like you said, it's the first time you and I met each other. Mm-hmm. And I always liked Darren Goodbar's ability to put that together. I know there was a lot of other people that were involved in that, but between him and Debbie,
and those fucking cookies, oh my God.
And the cookies and and the venue, the venue was great. It was, at a winery. We had a whole polo field to dick around with. It's here's another fun story about that particular event. So Darren Goodbar texts me, and says, "Hey, I
Shout
got
out to
this
Darren.
guy." Yeah, shout out to Darren, man. There is no doubt. Shout out to Darren. He's a good dude. One of the good dudes. Yeah. So I'm sucking down. Hold on. So anyway, Darren texts me and tells me, "Hey, there's this guy coming. He's part of some other, company that makes like tethered drones, but his name is Kyle Stacy. He's going to be flying a helicopter around or something like that." And I'm like, "What? Who?"
I remember
He
that.
says Kyle Stacy. Do you know who that is? And I'm like, "Well, of course I know who that is." And he says, "Well, does he fly as good as you?" I mean, that's what Darren asked me. Is he as good a pilot as you? And I'm like,
Did you tell him you were going to ask for Kyle's autograph when you met him?
dude, I was like, I was tripping out. I was
I know.
literally like, you're talking about one of the world class freaking RC helicopter pilots, dude. You're not. I mean, world winners. Like what? He's going to be at this event. Like, of course, yeah. Bleh, So, of course, I'm excited. And people don't know who Kyle in the drone world. They have no idea who this kid is, except for anybody
I was in the
that's
RC heli world, yeah.
right. So I get there, and of course everybody knows who I am. Hey John, hey, take a picture with me, John. Hey, talk to me, John. Hey, all John.
That was me in 2016.
That's right.
2017. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And then here comes Kyle Stacy, and I'm just like,
fanboy.
oh my God. Oh my God, it's Kyle Stacy, and I'm standing next to Kyle Stacy, and I'm sending back, some pictures to my buddies, Jake included, like, dude, I'm next to Kyle Stacy, like I'm standing here with him on the field, like, I was super excited about that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who that dude is, and if you don't know who that dude is, I'm sorry, but when you're talking about, like I said, if you're a golfer at all, and you don't know the name Tiger Woods, everybody knows who Tiger Woods is, even if you're not in golf. But, for such a small group of industry people that had no idea, like, and then he goes out there and flies, and boy, oh boy, it caused a huge freaking problem. Yeah, I don't know if you remember I won't say his name, but come running out to the field and telling him how dangerous the RC helicopter flying around is. And, there's there's us that are like, dude, he's not even flying hard. Like, he's not even doing anything amazing. He's just doing a couple, He's not even doing anything. What are you talking about?
Tariq has that video of him doing that, like, next to the road. There's cars going back and forth, and Tariq's sitting there just like, boo. But Kyle's the same way. Like, his face is just, you watch him fly, he's like watching the drone. But you watch his thumbs or you watch the drone, and the thumbs are.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, that was the thing. Is like,
and the drone is like.
I got a video, and Jake being Jake, why you got to, or I don't know. I can't remember if it was Jeff or Jake. Jake, you'll have to remind me of, like, I'm standing there with a video, and I go down I go down to his radio, and Jake's like, nobody wants to see his goddamn thumbs, why are you doing that? And I'm like, well, I do. I want to see what the hell he's doing.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, It was, anyway, fun event, great venue, great place to get to. I mean, I met so many of my good friends nowadays that I would call good friends, you included. Bobby too. It's the first time I met Bobby was at that event. At that event. Chris Sadler, another one of those big hitters, right? And of course Darren and his wife. So, there was a lot of people that I found, and because it was such a small venue, 250 people, it really did bring together, a good group of people for those 3 or 4 days to work with each other and kind of get the questions going and try to, make some impact. I had a lot of agencies that I didn't even, again, at ARM-US, this is all ARM-US days. I had a lot of agencies that would come there and come up and shake my hand and say thank you, so much for helping our agency get going in a direction that we needed to go, and I hate to be insensitive to that, knowing that, but again, sales wise, we were doing a lot of sales, we're working with a lot of agencies. So, I had a lot of people that I actually didn't know. This was just a tribute to my crew at RMUS, how good they were, because I didn't have anything to do with the talking and the working and the relationship. They just saw me on the videos and saw me as being the face of it. But all that work on the back end was my good people at RMUS, creating that from ground zero and having those people come up and shake my hand because of it. I was really proud of my crew because of that. It really was great, honestly. So
Seems like you're really reminiscent of RMUS though.
well,
No, he's reminiscing of PVCC is what he's doing.
well, a little bit of both, a little bit of both. We don't no longer is that event going, and that sucks.
Brandon's got hashtag Bring Back Virginia.
That's
Brandon
right.
Morris.
That's
Hell yeah.
right. You're right. But honestly, 7 years at RMUS, 7 years, and starting that with my partner, JT, and creating, I can promise you, there's no way there would be a John McBride without an RMUS, and there's no way. We started a foundation there, of course, but at the end of the day, JT and that crew, I was able to hire all my friends, Jake being one of them, Jeff Flowers being another, Spencer Henry, Lance Stoddard, all these dudes were, and they're still there. They're still there. And it was the toughest thing to ever do, is walk away from my friends at that company and move on to another one. It was the toughest thing I'd ever done. So even though people might, oh, you just went for the money, it wasn't an easy decision. I can promise you that. And these are still my good friends, and I really do care about that. And as far as a manufacturer goes, I want to be very clear. I'm not biased to the company, even though I don't.
Yeah, okay.
But I do. I'm close. They're just they're very close, and I really do care about that Autel relationship now. And I think working with now other dealers, like I said, working with Drone Nerds, working with Fly Motion, working with these other companies that help out, with Autel, has also, in my position, allowed me to see how we did it at RMUS versus how others do it, And if you wanted to set a precedence, unfortunately, if you wanted to set it, I'm not saying that we were the best, but we did certain things that certainly carved out how some people in this industry should behave,
Customer support.
Yeah. And I know, it was funny because Byron just pinged me, right? Before the thing. And I know Byron's passion for this stuff. He's always been that at Ariel. Yeah. So, they're Chris at UVT, we have so many good people out there doing good stuff, and it's just who you are to try to support them and keep them in business so that you can still come back and keep answered. It's all part of that. It's a bigger picture than just bitching about the drone industry. A lot of people supporting their families because of what we do out there.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Fink. UVT's been growing a lot. Good on him.
Hang up.
We got to hang out with Chris several times. All right, so now I know you're not biased for Autel, yeah, huh? Okay, so so say we remove that bias completely. Let's talk about drones outside of Autel. Not even drones, but anything that flies for that matter. This year, what do you think the most impressive thing away from Autel is that you've seen fly this year? Or it could be innovative. I mean, it could be a complete total piece of garbage, but it's more innovative than anything else you've seen. Most innovative thing that you've seen this year that flies?
Well, innovative versus working well are two different things.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Okay.
For sure.
Let's be clear there.
For sure. That's why I said it could be a piece of trash, but it's innovative.
But, a while back, and I will give some props to Bobby Sakaki, another one of my good friends, he went to.
The Jason Bourne of the drone industry.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Ascent Technologies. He went over there to that company, and they have the Spirit, right? The contra rotating, drone, and
it's like a big old Adderall capsule, but with blades that spin around it.
That's right. Well, the first time I saw that unit, I was walking by at AUVSI a couple years ago. Before coming to Autel, I saw it, and 3D printed. It was like, pretty cool. It looked pretty fancy. But here I thought in my brain, I had built a contra rotating thing like that and tried to make it work. And here it is sitting right in front of me going, wow, somebody took a bit more time and actually, was putting something together. So it goes outside of the normal multi-rotor concept, stays within that, easy operation idea. And again, compact, portable, all of that. So it's good to see that they have kind of continued on with that building and innovation. I'm not talking about any of the flights they've done or anything like that.
Right. For sure.
You hope to see that this type of aircraft kind of continues on to be a bit more stable and capable and everything else. I think that is a game changer, if you ask me, of how that's designed, so
thinking outside the box.
Thinking outside of the box, there's no doubt about it. And it's been in development for quite some time. It isn't anything brand spanking new. So, but nobody else that I know of has tried to go scale with that design, nobody else that I know of.
For sure. Well, that's like Clio.
Oh,
Clio,
there's another one.
You got to fly the drone out, right? Dude, that thing it's cool as shit. It's a couple fan, like something you'd find in a computer. It's a couple fans, but to control the way the thing moves, it uses little fins that basically blocked different portions of the air duct.
Yeah, the drone nut. The drone nut.
The drone nut it's freaking cool, man, and it's fun to fly. It's super stable, but that's another one. It's thinking outside of the box. Jake Mackey posted. He said the Anduril Ghost is badass. Fuck yeah! Oh God. Yeah, I mean, if you can shoot a drone out of a rocket launcher and then absolutely, it's incredibly impressive. But there's a lot of innovation.
I got a unit. It was one of those first things Jake ever flew. was that rotating helicopter I got, big 3-bladed son of a gun from Taiwan, made by Thunder Tiger Robotics, also another, helicopter manufacturer.
Thunder Tiger,
yeah, Thunder Tiger.
Yeah,
that was a really great experience for the first time I ever met that owner. I had bought Thunder Tiger products since I was a kid, and here I'm going to their factory where they're treating me like a king, and I meet the owner, Ah Ling, and I again, it was one of those like, oh my God, I'm actually standing here in front of the guy that was instrumental. Yeah, like bam, it just my life has been great. These little things that are just like, wow, so anyway, that's a big awesome. Contra-rotating helicopter, and honestly, it's the most beautiful piece of work you'd ever seen. I mean, the engineering behind it, it just gorgeous aircraft, but not really easy to understand of it, as far as me or anything like that. Very particular, very very specific on what you would do with it. But that's why again I had a lot of interest in that particular design. The way contra rotating thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we've had the counter rotating helicopters forever. Like I had a little MCX, the little blade Horizon Hobbies, like the little red one that had one blade that spun one way, one blade that spun the. But it's so stable, it's stupid. My 6-year-old would fly it. And here I am fucking wrecking collective pitch helicopters just because they're stupid hard to fly. But something like that, it's one going one way, one going the other, and they counterbalance, and you basically have a helicopter that's permanently auto-rotating and will not just fall.
Put on the bottom of that airframe, put a payload on top of that airframe, that's pretty cool, and that's, like you said, pretty innovative. So I'm sure there's a lot of other cool people have seen out there, but I've always enjoyed the fact that people can come up with some crazy design or idea and just kind of keep pushing on it. I think that's neat.
I keep going back to Jake, but man, your boy is on a roll with some of these comments.
Oh boy, now what is he doing?
He laid the big dick down and said,
Oh, man.
"What about
Called you
what
out.
about in?" He said, "What about ingenuity on Mars? Literally a drone on Mars. What the fuck?" He's 100% spot on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
That's the design. It's not a multi-rotor, that is the design. So there you go,
Jake's
That
like
is
Spirit, Clio. No, back the fuck up. Drone on Mars.
It's on Mars. Oh yeah.
Man, you're right though, Jake. It is absolutely insane. Crazy impressive. Yep. Counter-rotating props though. I mean, counter-rotating the whole. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What is petrodynamics? What's petrodynamics? What do you know about them? Anything? Chris just
I don't-
posted a
I
link to
actually don't.
petrodynamics.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them. Okay, VTOL aircraft. I'll have to look that up, Chris. I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah, there was a really nice VTOL that was down there, commercial UAV. When we were down there, it might be Petro. I can't remember who made it, but another gorgeous aircraft.
Oh, wait. Hold on, time out.
Yep.
She's making her appearance, Bobby. I don't know if you'll get to see her butt this time or not, but she has made her appearance. Sorry, my better half comes up to steal my bourbon.
Oh.
She tries
Oh,
to
there it
stay
is. There
hidden.
it is.
She tries to stay
Oh,
hidden.
man.
She's tapping. I've got headphones on, can't hear shit, so she starts tapping louder.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Crack it up.
Oh,
Well,
I
hey,
love it.
are we still hanging on to people watching, or are we just, are people still hanging? I can't.
The
I'm
weekly
not
lore.
watching the Facebook part.
So right now we've got, I don't know, 20 people watching or so on Facebook.
Yeah.
We usually have close to 700 or 800 views, so it's just the little guys doing little fun stuff.
That's cool.
I do it for 0
Are you-
views. I just like.
Are you
doing
wondering how many people are watching my wife come up here and get bourbon? Is that what you're wondering?
Like,
Well,
how many
I don't
people
know.
saw Laura's-
As long as I saw your
What?
belly earlier when you were trying to adjust something in your room.
Oh man.
My belly?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I
I
saw
sit
it.
in a chair all day now.
Oh no, you were reaching way up, and she was poking out, and
Half prego, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So John, for the viewers in our chat right now, the 20 or so viewers in our chat right now, let's answer the elephant in the room. What's it like being a multimillionaire working at Autel Robotics as the senior global vice president of everything?
Well,
Is that really a question? I didn't see that. Calm down. What's up?
well, I enjoy the manufacturer side. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. However, could have worked for anybody. Could have chose anybody. Could have went anywhere. I probably still could. I'm not trying to say that as like a jerk. I'm just saying that I chose to come to Autel primarily because of the dragonfish. I chose to come to Autel because I thought, again, I was wanting to move on to something else. Just kind of looking at how to, again, what does the industry need? Well, we need good competition. I can hopefully give some input. And to be honest with you, I've gone to DJI, Shenzhen, China, 7 times. So we working with DJI on creating some of the things that you currently fly today, coming up with ideas and generating that feedback, and so I thought maybe that would be a good spot, as far as coming to Autel. Plus, I had this really big fascination with the dragonfish, of like bitchin' aircraft. I want to know more. I want to learn more. I want to understand more. I want to show people that this thing is bitchin' outside of a quad, So to answer your question, Bobby, I am no millionaire.
He's a multimillionaire.
I'm not. Yeah, sure. However, the global VP of training and technology came into play of just, I think it was, again, just a recognition on their end, on Autel's end, to kind of see that there's, an absolute need for training. I keep pushing this really hard, that people shouldn't just be buying stuff to buy stuff and hopefully crashing, banging, and booming without some level of training, some level of walking through your equipment that you got. And with the Dragonfish, it kind of requires that. Number one, it's expensive, and you don't want people to crash an expensive aircraft. Number two, it's moving 60 miles an hour, and you want to make sure that people know how to fly that versus flying a drone that just stops on a dime. So anyway, training was really important. I think, again, they recognize that. Working with Autel, has been an experience. We've seen a lot of change within the company, a lot of things, and I'm hoping, with a bit more direction, a little bit more help, that we keep improving and getting better. So, and that's all you can do.
Can we touch on the whole training aspect of stuff? So obviously that's like your baby. You're the VP of training, and Tommy said training and after sales. So like the customer support side of things. So I know Skybrowse, like, what kind of training does it really take? There's a lot of agencies that are looking for a little extra. They want more detail. They want more of this. They want a certificate to put on the wall. And there is that stigma of, well, anybody can fly a drone. And I've talked to Greg from Pilot Institute about it. Shout out to Pilot Institute. I've got my Pilot Institute colors up, but
So many agencies that
are willing to spend $130,000 aircraft and then balk it like $1,500 or $2,000 for training. I went through training with you, when I got my hands on your fish, and I don't want to say it was the crash course, because we spent 2 days flying, but even after that, there was still stuff that, like, it's a lot. There's a lot to that Dragonfish, and I've got an RC background. I've flown for a long time. I've flown just about every drone that I can think of.
Yep.
Very few exceptions, but why do you feel that people balk at like $1,500 for training when you're flying a $130,000 drone? And one of the benefits that as well as I do, something like the Dragonfish, to train a pilot on that, the thing does the same thing as a fucking airplane without a person in it. Yeah. And people are willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on training to fly an airplane, but they'll balk at $1,500 or $2,000 or even $10,000 for their whole agency to learn to fly the Dragonfish. Why is there that pushback on training, and why is that training so
Why?
Well, I still think the industry has a stigma of drones being toys. I still think that that's a relative conversation piece when it comes down to people that are, especially in agencies that already have an aviation unit. Mm-hmm. They have that thinking, right? They have the thinking, they have the processes that have to be understood. They have the inspections that are done. They have the training, they have all this pilot shit, right? And if you compare standing on the side of a truck with a couple sticks, they don't take that seriously,
Right.
And then we also have that caveat of that if you can buy a piece of equipment at Walmart, which is the same piece of equipment that I sell at wherever, does it require, training? It's the same piece of equipment, it's a Phantom 4, it's a Phantom 4, it's an Evo 2, it's an Evo 2, so that stigma has been very difficult to overcome. It's been a very big challenge, even when I was at RMUS, to try to get people to do. So when I came into Autel, I make it a requirement. It's required.
It should be. It absolutely should be.
It's not an option. It's not an option. If you're going to have people operate this aircraft, it's required for you to take some training. Whether there's a cost perspective to it or not, that's up to the dealer that sells it. But at the end of the day, I have created, a way to track the people that have been trained, the way to track their continual training. I might have a firmware update or a change or something like that that we need to inform all these people, and I only have one way to get that out there. I don't send a mass 45,000 email train. Oh, hey, we got this thing to Dragonfish users. You know, we have a specific target on being able to do that. Now, honestly, I don't have a whole lot of extensive training on the Evo stuff or the Nano or the Light, you know, because you've stated it. Why spend all the time when a lot of it can be, you know, is considered to be, oh, we'd never spend that kind of money. We spent $1,500 on the drone. Why would I spend $1,500 to get trained times 5 people? What a waste of money, you know? So you have to put it somewhere to gauge where people are in proficiency. But, you know, to come back to Jake and I, you know, when he was working with me under my training regiment at Arm US, you know, we had one of the corporate companies that we worked with that basically said, our people have to be trained the way you want us to train them. You know, you have to sign them off, you know? So, you know, I mean, I was like, holy crap, what do we do here? You know, we have to create a level of proficiency checkoff, you know, and we don't do that very well with the industry, you know. I don't mean to be, I don't want to, you know, again, it's not a measure of whether you can fly the thing. It's a measure of whether you can be productive with the thing and still be, you know, capable of making smart decisions without, you know, causing havoc or issue, you know. And when you really are flying a drone in $1 million frickin', you know, location inside of a boiler or something like that, having to do a job, you better damn well know what you're doing, you know.
And that's too. It's not just like don't let the drone crash. It's your value goes up at that point. Once you get the training to be more proficient, the value of the aircraft, the value of what you're doing actually goes up. And I don't think a lot of people actually see that, which is, it's disheartening because you can do a lot more once you've had the hands-on, like, yeah, in this situation, use this. In this situation, use that. You can do a whole lot more. Yet there's a lot of, not pushback necessarily, but...
well, I mean, again, unless it's a requirement by the agency or a requirement by the company, you know, even manufacturers of guns and cars and things like that have to build in some level of, you know, manufacturer training for anybody, you know, and if you don't have it, which is what I created, you know, you can't sign off. And there are a lot of agencies that will not sign off. I mean, they will spend the money, or their SOP demands that they are manufactured certified, you know, and that's good, you know, that they can write that into their SOP, you know.
The gun comparison.
So I'll play devil's
great.
advocate. So what happens when automation takes over then?
Well, so you have to make a difference. You do have to understand that, like, there are decisions that are made regardless of automation being 100% or not. You still have to make aeronautical smart decisions. And since automation is 99%, at least in the Dragonfish, the aircraft is doing 99% of the work for you. And when you have to consider, if automation is going to take over or do this, I have to make sure that I do my checks that the automation works, you know, and I do have a piece of that to teach, you know, to make sure that it's going to do what it's designed to do, and check that off. Because I agree with you, Bobby. Automation is difficult. If something fucks up on the automated side, where do you hold someone responsible? You know, who's responsible? You know. So
and that brings together. So I usually tie it into the fire service because that's my background. That's what my history is in. Fire trucks. Fire trucks now are different than fire trucks 30 years ago. To get water out of a fire truck now, I can teach a drunk monkey to pump a fire truck. Easy.
Yeah.
Turn this knob, water comes out that hose. Turn this knob, water comes out that. And it's the same thing. What happens when shit hits the fan? What happens that it's supposed to come out of? And the same thing for manned aviation. You think those 737s and the newer jets, they're flying themselves. But if you didn't have that person in the cockpit, it would be a
well, and it could be, you know, there could be decisions that the aircraft is making outside of what you're capable of knowing, right? That I mean, let's go back to Tesla cars. every time we see something in Tesla failed, stopping at a stoplight. Tesla failed at staying in the lines. Tesla failed, not the operator. Not the guy driving the car. The guy that's supposed to be hands on the wheels, not sleeping at the wheel. Tesla screwed it up. You
Yeah.
know, and that's the bad side of automation. That's the bad side of letting something do something. You're putting a lot of faith in that, and eventually the world will get like that. Maybe in my lifetime, I'm not sure, but eventually it'll get like that. We already have automated things happening that we don't even think about anymore, that are happening, and consistently do it without too much trouble. We already have that happening, but when you do have the manned aviation side, people driving in their cars, drones flying around, that's we put a lot of faith in that, and we're always expecting that the aircraft's going to do exactly what it's supposed to do. But what if it doesn't? And I hope to, again, just kind of mitigate that with a little bit of training to understand, what to check for before you send it. But
Yeah, and that's the intermediary step between manual flights and full automation. It's human supervised automation, where a lot of people may see it as common sense and some people may not. And
yeah,
you just need to have prompts saying, for instance, an automated flight path. If you want the
yeah,
drone to fly an automated flight path, say, I don't know, 2 orbits, record a video, make a 3D model, those 2 orbits. Well, okay, that makes sense. You press one button, the drone does that. What happens when you're in the middle of a tornado that hit Dallas just 2 days ago here?
Yeah.
A lot of people won't fly drones, but some people that want to make cool 3D models just might. And you just
Yeah.
need to have those disclaimers in the meantime, so that it essentially habitually reinforces the fact that you can't be an asshole with a drone altogether. You have to display common sense to a certain degree, so that the drone doesn't mess up and ruin the industry for everyone else.
Well, I
And
mean,
once we
and
do
this
that for a while, then we'll hit
Sure.
the automation threshold.
Well, it comes into that question, Bobby, because you've made your app so easy, you've made it so simple. I mean, would you feel confident to say, hey, you just bought this, $3,000 drone. We have this fancy app that you only have to push the button, and that's all you teach them? Like, you don't teach them actually how to fly the thing, but that's all you do. You know what? All you do is take it out there, put it on the deck, on this bright orange little landing pad, turn it on, and this app, you just push the button, it'll do everything for you. Do you teach people that way? No.
So
I've got to say,
my new obsession with
We got
half the
Austria.
other people on the planet is Chat GPT.
Oh boy.
So I told Chat, write a paper on why we will always need a drone pilot, even when drones are fully automated. And sure
Yeah.
enough, this fucking thing did it. But the very first thing it says is, one reason that drone pilots will always be necessary is that even with the most advanced technology, there will always be a risk of equipment failure or other unforeseen circumstances that can disrupt autonomous
drone.
These situations, having a skilled pilot who can take control of the drone and safely land it or make other necessary adjustments, can be critical. And then it wrote a whole fucking paper. It's literally 12 paragraphs long, but
Well, we have
AI
to always
is insane.
basics. Yeah, you always have to teach the
But
basics.
you have
like
to
I
teach
said,
the basics.
yeah, you got to teach the basics. You got to teach the, even on emergency procedures, if one recognizes that that's going on, I always had, and this is something I always said, nothing was more irritating of somebody calling me with a problem and just telling me how to describe it, that I don't know, that the thing just went crazy. I'm like it just went, what? You didn't see if it tumbled. You didn't see if a prop came off. You didn't notice there was birds. You didn't see that you smacked something. Did you check your GPS before you left? Did you make sure the compass was good? Did you, all these little
They don't
things.
know.
They have no idea. They
And
did
you-
exactly
Oh,
what.
it didn't
No,
work.
I have Skybrowse app. I just put it on the orange little thing and I pressed the button, and
Yeah.
the drone went crazy.
Yep.
It's not a good position to be in when you're considering, a lot of the things that need to happen, and smart decisions you're making when you're operating. So
Yeah.
you always have to come back to that, and I only as a manufacturer I can demand, that people take the training. I can make it a requirement, but there is some cases where you can't do it every time, you know. So
Yep.
For the
I
record,
can only
we
go
do
like
have onboarding every
nice.
single time someone purchases a Skybrowse license. We do
Yes.
have mandatory onboarding. So
yeah,
there's
You
that.
will
it's
sit through, and
mandatory.
we
I
will
mean,
walk you through.
until all manufacturers do that in some mandatory capacity. It doesn't even have to be a manufacturer. It could be somebody that's a training arm to something, right? But unless it's required, and I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but no warranty is given
Yeah.
whatsoever if you didn't take training. I'm sorry. It's
Yep.
we got to get to that level, or aspire to that level of no longer is it just something you buy at Walmart.
Yeah.
You got
I
to.
mean, that's everyone thinks, oh well, I paid for my 107, I took the course, I'm good to go. No, that's the baseline. Okay, all of a sudden you now cross. This is not the end of your trainings.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know we get some manned aircraft people that are very sensitive to this analogy, but all I did was go and take ground school, and I should be good to go to just jump in the plane, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I took ground school, you know, yeah, I don't actually know how to. I don't need somebody to show me where to turn anything on. I can just go to YouTube and learn that. It's the
Now I
same
don't.
analogy. And again, I don't want to compare it exactly, but it's a parallel to some degree. Of you do need to have somebody kind of help you with it. Whether it's
I
YouTube or not, somebody needs to help you with it.
I don't condone suicide, but if you're a fucktard that took ground school and thinks you should be able to jump in a plane and go, fuck yeah, go send it. Like, just go. Let's see how it turns out.
Well,
I mean,
training is a major passion of mine. Being able to show people,
absolutely.
I did that is one of the things I love to do is stand in front of people and make sure that they understand coaching, helping, all of that. So, and I want to see people succeed. I want to see people, deploy. Another one of those things that hurt me is I hear about people purchasing stuff and then they shelve it, they put it on the wall, they don't use it. We have agencies that did it all the time. Is like, well, we bought this drone because we had some money. All right, cool. Well, we haven't flown it in a year because we didn't really do anything. We just had some money. And so here this new chief or this new sheriff or this new person is like, hey, what is this thing sitting in the closet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a drone we bought a year ago, And they're trying to that hurts me to know that
And
kind of stuff goes on.
and let's be honest, there's a lot of drones out there that are sitting on a fucking shelf, whether it be
Yeah.
DJI or whether it be Autel or whether it be Skydio or Brink
Yeah.
or whatever, whoever it may be. There's a bunch of drones sitting on a shelf because one, people were either scared of the regulation, two, didn't know enough about it, or three, that was really expensive. Don't touch it.
Oh, that's a tough one.
And you can combat two out of the three
Yeah.
easily with training.
Yeah.
The whole gambit, 2 out of 3. That's expensive. Don't touch it. Like, that's one of those things we just face in public safety and we face in the fire service. It's one of those things that it's like, oh, that's new. Don't scratch that up. We're bringing it into a burning building. What do you expect to happen?
Yeah.
But
Well,
the other two, we actually can
right.
combat that and get those drones out there to be used for, important shit.
Yeah. Well, and then failure is going to happen. Crash is going to happen. We
Yeah.
crash our squad cars all the time. We smack our freaking fire trucks against stupid things. Stuff like that's going to happen. We can't, let that hold us back and, be the only factor of what happens if it crashes. Well, there's all kinds of things that happen like that. And, including manned aircraft, it does happen. And we have to be cognizant of it. But what did we do to make sure that we try to prevent it? What did we do to try and make sure that we were making smart decisions while deploying it? We were trying our best to communicate properly, to not, smack, crack, and boom, And there is that factor of failure of just you can have a flight controller freak out. They're flying computers, for God's sakes.
A fucking solder joint that's a little
my-
too big.
Yeah, my computer right now froze what do we do?
Oh,
Well,
shit.
you turn
John's
it
coming
off,
for
and
us.
turn it back on. You know, yeah. That
Yep.
Yeah, and crashes are bound to happen. That's the thing, though. Like, you
Yeah.
want to just learn from the crashes and see how you can improve from them. and
No
how you
one
can
would know
improve
that
from
better
other
than
people's
Bobby Oyang.
crashes. That's
So
because I
crashing
push
stuff?
everything to the limit. I love
Hey,
learning.
I remember this
I
one
love to
time
learn.
in Bend, Oregon.
Oh, I was learning.
Oregon,
I
and
was really learning, studying Autel Robotics, the
I
new
had-
V2 Evos,
yeah, I had
Enterprise.
the only V2 there, and it somehow hit a goddamn fence or something like that under the control of the long-haired kid standing next to me.
No, it almost hit.
Well,
Chief
I don't
Baker.
know.
Come on, you're embellishing the details. It almost hit Chief Baker.
Yeah,
It didn't. It didn't.
Oh,
can you imagine
those,
those- can you imagine
I
those
was pushing it
newspaper
to its
headlines?
limits.
Autel drone takes out Chief Baker of DJI. Yes. Oh
Chinese
man, I
suspected.
fucking love Wayne. I'm telling you right now, he is. If you took
Oh,
out
yeah.
Wayne, I'd probably hunch down, Bobby, because I love Wayne Baker.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. I've always enjoyed Wayne's conversations and you know, kind of hanging out with him at the shows. Always, you know, he's always such a good dude. You know, and
Oh,
his
man.
predecessor, you know, Romeo. I haven't talked to him for a little while. I think the last time I saw him was at one of the other events. But yeah, you know, Romeo was a good dude. I always thought he was a good
AVUSI.
dude.
We saw
but
him at AVUSI.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
AU,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not-
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, it was very, you know, just again, all these people, small family, very small family right now, and I'm sure you know, there's a lot of people that know the big players, you know, of who the people are in the industry, you know, whatever. But you know, there's a lot of others that are starting to gain a lot of experience and starting to, you know, get a little bit more notoriety, and it's good to see those people come online and do more. You know, it just shows more capability of taking that drone stuff to the next level. So you know, it's really cool. Always loved this industry. I mean, it's the reason why I'm here, you know, because I love it. So
Moving forward at 100 miles an
Small
hour
industry,
for sure.
but, you know,
Yeah.
we're trying to grow it, trying to make it
Yeah.
way bigger.
yeah, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of pushback there, but you know, there's a lot of things we contend with. There's a lot of things that we are always challenged with, you know, not in just the manufacturing, but also, you know, obviously on the regulation side, on what we talked about, training, and you know, the even the availability of being able to go out and actually do the work, the environments we fly in, all of the deliverables that we're able to create. You know, all of those are major challenges on kind of making your way through this industry of what do you do, you know? So, you know, should I be a mapping guy? Should I be a cop with a drone? Should I be, you know, there's so many different things, you know, that, and it all come, you know, hopefully converging together in the future.
It will. It will converge. I have faith.
And I will,
Jesus
I'll get
will
off,
support it.
I'll
So.
get off my hill and finish passing out my bread and fish and turning water to wine and
Please, turn to wine, please.
Oh man. Is that water?
It's wine now. It's
It's
wine
Oh
now.
man, that's only because we've got
brown
John.
water. It's brown water. I'm running short.
So I'm about to refill. We 4 minutes and we hit the two hour mark.
Wow!
6
Holy
more
cow!
minutes, and then we're cutting everybody off. No more.
Cut
All
off.
right,
Hey John,
very well.
real quick. After that 2 hour mark, you have to hang out for.
Please stay on.
It needs to upload. Just don't leave. Shit needs to upload so we have it. So.
All right, we'll stay with the party for a little bit
Or else
longer.
Spotify will hate us. Not like. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about
Oh man.
let's
all
talk-
right. Wait. Let's
talk about Bob
Bobby.
Oyang shenanigans getting John to pay stupid
Oh, no.
absorbent amounts of. What? That didn't happen.
So what? What? That never happened. That never happened.
John knows
Nobody
what I'm
got in
talking
trouble.
about. I remember the conversation.
Oh.
John, if you get fired tomorrow, it's my fault.
Oh my hell. Yeah.
He's still around.
You know, here's the bad thing about me getting older is my memory starts to go away, and then I get reminded of these funny things that are just like, what the, how, what the. Thanks
So
again,
for anyone,
Jeff.
for any, no, we've got a couple seconds, so it's a fun story. Bobby's like, oh yeah. Let's go to this taco restaurant. It'll be really good. John's like, all right, sure, I'll take you guys out.
Yeah.
You know, it's Autel's time. You know, we'll take you out. Fucking tacos, I'm in. So we pull up, and then Miss Bobby Oyang's like, so the reviews on that restaurant, like, there's another restaurant really close by.
Probably
Go there instead. And John's just like, oh yeah, sure. Show up. For one, I had that hostess fucking red when we walked in. So we walk in, and Bobby's in a tee. And, you know, I'm in a collared shirt, John's in a collared shirt, everyone else is. And she looks at us and goes, I'm sorry, we can't let you sit in the dining room, but there's seating at the bar.
You look like the help, but you can't work. You can't come in here.
Pretty much. And I look at her, I said, is it because he's Chinese? Is it?
Shit.
And this poor girl's face. Anyways, I digress. So and when I talk a fancy steak restaurant, they had the little silver stain, like we're talking silver crumb scrapers to scrape the crumbs off the table. John was already suckered in. Like, Bobby's like, oh yeah, no. So for four of us, $800 later, poor John, mind you, Bobby's like, no, you. Oh, and John has to break out that Autel credit card.
Hey, all right. You missed some details. We, as Skybriders, paid for the night before, and we were like, we'll pay for tonight. You pay for the next night.
So that is
we have definitely foot the bill. But I'm telling you right now, the conversations that took place after that meal were absolutely priceless. And
yeah.
Thank you, Max. The meal was.
I had to give him hell.
It
was fantastic. You know, I thought it was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a great recommendation by Bobby. He should have paid for it, but whatever.
You know, it's one of those things.
At that time, I was quitting smoking. I didn't have a single drink that night. I was drinking Shirley Temples and seltzers all night, and
that's only because he didn't have
miserable.
He didn't have his ID, and the waitress thought he was under 21. So that's the reason Shirley Temple.
Oh no! And then Kay came later on. Kay Wang, by the way. From
Oh
Autel
God,
Robotics,
yeah.
And we texted
Kay.
him. We were like, hey, so like if you get denied in the front, just ask if it's because you're Chinese.
I even told Kay. I said, Kay, what are you wearing? He's like, the same thing I was wearing earlier. I'm like, no, put on a t-shirt before you waitress hell.
Oh man! Oh,
You guys are terrible.
So mean.
Yeah, shenanigans. True shenanigans. And again, it's always these kind of stories. I always love it. I just being involved in this again, very close industry, getting all the relationships going, having great stories. There's nothing like it, man. I will say that my life has been. I don't want to say blessed, but that's usually the thing people say. I just want to say that again, if it wasn't for this community and these people and all this other stuff, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I really do appreciate you having me on the show, and appreciate always the interaction with people out there in the world, and it's really fantastic for me. So and
awesome.
it humbles
Great.
Bobby told me he reached out to you, and you were gonna. We haven't gotten to hang out in a couple of months anyway. This is outside of conferences. This is it.
Well, we're gonna party at CES. Party at CES, Jeff. So
No, that's gonna be nuts.
we'll see what happens there.
It's gonna be low.
Come hang out with the Marine again, and whatever.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be.
And we ain't
crazy.
going to no. I ain't going to no strip clubs. I think I've already clarified that.
For the record, I have not been to any conference that I've gone to. So my wife, probably not that she would care, because she'd be like, "Oh, whatever." But I haven't. know what I'm doing. So
Excellent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, John McBride, Drone Jesus. John McBride, do you have any shout outs or any closing statements?
Like I said, I think I just kind of said that. I mean, I really do appreciate everybody's input, support. I know, Jeff, you brought up my son earlier. That was a really trying time for me. And, the support from the drone community was unbelievable, So those kinds of things, I just want to shout out to the community in general and all the great people that have combined to put this together and continue to push and continue to do. And I'm glad to be one of those people that are seen as kind of a helpful, person in that way. And additionally, like I said, I could not do what I'm doing today without a lot of this influence, a lot of these people. So, everybody, I just shout out to everyone that I've named tonight, everybody that joined tonight, everybody that was capable of coming. I'm really, truly humbled by it, and appreciate you guys having me on and, hanging out for the night. Really do appreciate it.
Ladies and gents,
like this,
John
is it like
McBride.
that? Give us the.
No,
All right.
this is my bad. Yeah.
And there you have it. That concludes Drones After Dark. Tune in next week. We'll have Luis Figueredo from Elizabeth Police and also Skybrowse's Director of Public Safety on for the next Thursday's episode. Take care, guys. Have a good night.